Hi again. Today's day, the 30th of May 2022, and as always, sometimes if I miss something, I either just I either just don't bother, or I just do another part. So this is going to be part two of the Dunblane shooting. Because one thing I forgot to mention is that the Columbine High School Massacre connection, which I'm going to get into a bit, because this happened on the 25th of April 1999. And what's interesting is that from Dunblane to the Columbine, you get 1,133 days. And what does that tell you? It tells you how these events are scripted by the numbers. And the fact that you got, two numbers in this case, in number of days, identical. Like I got 1,133, like 11:30, like 11:3, or 33 like masonry. Tells you how these events are truly connected, scripted by the numbers, by this ancient code. Is the opinion of Dan Barent, a geometry decoder, who arguably, alongside with Brother Berg, have gone a lot deeper, and Derek, to some extent, gone deeper than anyone. While it is good to say the Jesuits, they argue that it's bigger than the Jesuits. It's people that it's the people. When we say people, we mean people that are not. They don't. Basically, the people that rule this world, really. The one that pushed the idea is the Jesuits or the Zionists or the Freemasons. Or been pushing a lot of conspiracies, because they do that because they're trying to hide the bigger picture. That bigger picture being, it's ultimately, I would call it myself the priesthood. If you want to call it global elite, if you want to call it, the architects of reality, or reality designers, because that's what they are. Because they use this code, Kabbalah code, to rewrite the world. Basically, signs, words, letters, numbers, symbols. According to what Dan Barent said, they produce magic. Not the kind of magic that you think that you think as in Hollywood, but they have symbolized power. So that's what I want to bring up. Just try to find something else. And Dan, he bought this in his book, and look at the numerology here. Dunblane Massacre 612, Columbine High School 612. Again, they love tying up these events, don't they? And this is from his book, Synchro Mystic. I encourage people to get a hold of it. Synchro Mystic. It's on Amazon. Synchro Mystic. SYNCHROMISTIC. Synchro Mystic by Dan Barent. DAN. Then his surname is BEHRENDT. If I get his name wrong, I do apologize. Particularly his surname. Look, it goes here. Another example of predictive program is the above picture from the 2008 film Newtown Killers. The main character wears a shirt that says SND, which can be read as Sandy. I highly doubt it's a coincidence that somebody will relay a major news story out of Newtown, Connecticut. This film came out on the date of 6/12, an important to school shootings, which is where I got this information from. Columbine High School 612, Dunblane Massacre 612 in the Jewish ciphers. So there's that, and then there's some information here that whether this is true or not, it says it's become a dangerous city for human traffic and drug smuggling because their borders are widely open. Because that's what I've heard from many people. Through my interactions online, YouTube and Twitter and that, and Telegram, they say their borders are always widely open, and all kinds of things get in. It's not just illegal immigrants; it's human trafficking and drug smuggling. The school. This is what it says. That the school went on lockdown frequently. 6 months before Ramos entered the school. Obviously, you know my feelings about this. It's all a staged event. I doubt there was any shooting at all, but that's a different story. Something I was going to cover. This I came across this as well. Multiple 9/11 calls made from classrooms during the shooting, because they were outside waiting around. But you have to wonder whether this is another by the numbers. I mean, if they were waiting around, and just understand this is by the numbers, so this story might be bullshit that they were waiting around or they weren't there. But if they were waiting around, why did they not go inside? Unless there's nobody in there, which I'm not gonna rule out. There was no one in there. I think I'll take my 4G off. I don't know why I put that on. And speaking of 9/11 calls, I thought, I should do a date to date between the 9/11 attacks and the shooting in the Robb Elementary School, and we get 1,080 weeks, and that number is important because September 11th is okay, it's not written as 11th, but sometimes I've noticed in English language in English language they sometimes I remember some people used to write it in a different way, like September 11 attack or September 11th, or like for example June the 5, or they don't say 5th sometimes, but it tells you everything you need to know about how this code works. Because I think we need to evolve from what we know so far about this code has been used every day. But I'm neutral on the idea that everything is by the code. When I say everything, our life. Basically, it's just a theory that our lives are by the code. What happens in our lives, from beginning to end, is by a code. And I'm of the opinion that letters and numbers are neutral. They're not good or bad. Problem is, we have an elite, a priesthood, who are ultimately controlling the world. The Jesuits they are not the ultimate rulers. They're certainly. They are pulling the strings, but they're not ultimately the rulers, because you have to understand that secret society has someone else pulling their string, and it's the priesthood. And another thing, I was talking to somebody. I don't think. Basically, it's just a friend. Just a friend online, I always come across people that might be interested in what I'm talking about, because I do live streams and that. I was saying to her that Michael Jackson faked his death, and she's like, "What, really?" So I warned her, maybe you won't like what I say, but she seemed interested. Because I say Michael Jackson faked his death, and look. Michael Jackson 52, faked death 52, fake death 38, reflection of 83, like murder 83. Yes, he did fake his death. I have no doubt about that. Something else I was going to highlight as well, for my interaction with Zen of Makaveli. He brought up something. I mean, he doesn't do gematria. He's more of a date numerologist kind of person. I mean, look, 126 minutes of terror. He brought about 1080 minutes. It's been 1080. That number, it reminds us of 1080p, like the size of the television, the screen, 1080. He also brought up the fact that Parkland shooting and 9/11 was 6,000 days. Salvador Ramos and James Holmes 6,000 days. Ramos and Anagama Ramos was born on 5/16/04, making him 144 months younger than Adam Lanza, who was one of the shooters in Parkland. He was 18. His last name R is the 18th letter, which is Ramos. He's talking about here. It talks about the symbolism of 1080 as well. Riding the beast. I'm going to be internet on, so I'm not going to be able to show that to you. He also brought up, 20 years, 8 months and 13 days. I ignored that at first, but he brought it up. He talks about the number 8, 8 o'clock is 8 p.m, 8 is just 8, 30 minutes is just a tricky one, 8 minutes is like 13 hours, 888, 750 minutes, 606 hours, A to Z, like Amazon 126. 126 hours is 5 days and 6 hours. 56. Alright, I think I'll have to bring up the 1080. It has different meanings, this number. I mean, this website is truly remarkable, because then you can find out the significance of numbers here. Certain numbers, that is. Certain ones, not all of them. Not every single one you can think of, but according to the number is linked to the metaphysical negation of death by the triumph of the spirit, to the mysteries of the divine resurrection, and by extension to the resurrection of the flesh and rehabilitation of the man in archetype which is beyond time, the Christ eternal. There's not much. The number represents the time of a half of 2,116 years. So that's what you can see right here. Holy Spirit. I mean, they love putting these, numbers in the decodes. I mean, he asked me what my birthday was, and I'm Zen of Makaveli, and he synced it to 9/11, and he noticed that I'm a Gemini, which Gemini meaning twins, yeah, and the twin towers are twins, and they were brought down. The two T's of twins he's referring to, 2 mass shootings and both teachers look alike or identical. He says it's the first victim, talking about Ramos, was his grandma. She was 66. Again, there's a lot of strange stuff happening. Look, even this guy, Zen of Makaveli, he knows the English, Hebrew and Greek alphabets. Okay, I covered what I need to cover, but if you noticed, when I was going through my slides, there was Hungerford. Now that will be the next video I will cover, because that was the big shooting before Dunblane. Years before Dunblane, which led to them passing restrictive gun laws, and Dunblane would be the one that would ultimately finish off guns in the UK, which is what happened. Yeah, there's Lord Cullen. He's a guy that was responsible for the cover-up of what happened. He's currently 86 years old. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets sacrificed. Yeah, the Dunblane shooting is 116 days from his birthday. The Roman Catholic Church is 116. Lord Cullen is 44, like Kill 44. Lord Cullen is 55, like Satan. His name William Douglas Cullen. He's 83 like murder, 218 like death. So he's got murder numbers all around. I mean, he was asked if he was a Freemason. Most likely he is, because there's a lot of Freemasons in that establishment. So there's a lot of things happen. So, you know, I mean, he's a guy. I mean, obviously, this is what they do sometimes. They always have someone. They always. I mean, I understand all these events are planned in advance, probably years in advance. And he is an actor for the New World Order. So his job was quite clearly to give the idea that he's going to investigate something, but usually why there's a cover up, because it's quite possible that this incident was another fake incident. Then you got Thomas Hamilton, born on the 10th of May 1952, and I didn't have his birthday the first time, but I'm going to have to bring it up now. 44 weeks, and kill is 44. 10 months and 3 days, like UK's 13. 58 days from his next birthday. I mean, the ones that I showed you were from his last birthdays, and his next birthday is 58 days. Freemason is 58, and including the end date, you get 47. The infamous 47. You get 47 days. Agents 47. Number of the Beast is 47. As I said, Hungerford, I'm going to mention that soon, but just going to go now. I'm running out of time. So see you guys soon.